Experience needed for a working visa to Australia. What is the experience needed when applying for a 482 working visa to Australia? Okay, so basically today's video is just going to teach you about the experience and what you can and can't do. So the most popular working visa in Australia is called the 482 employer sponsored working visa. Now, immigration might say and might promote, oh, you only need 1 year experience for this visa. But the reality is it's not fucking true, right? Ideally, you should have 5 years experience when applying for this visa. Now, for some people, depending on your occupation and depending on your specific type of education and training background, you might be lucky enough to get away with 3 years experience. But for 99% of the people looking at coming to work in Australia, you'll need 5 years of experience. Now, um, and when it comes to experience, that experience needs to be recent, right? You need to have 1 or 2 years recent experience, but a total, ideally, of 5 years experience. So let's say, let me give you a bad example. I'm dealing with a guy this week. Okay, so the guy I'm dealing with this week, he's got 2 years of recent experience, up until 2 months ago, and then so 2 years he's got, and then he's got a gap for 3 years, and then he's got, I think he's got maybe 5 years experience prior to that. So that's okay, right? He's got at least 5 years experience, and some of that is recent. Even though there is a gap in the middle, he's got recent experience, and he's got a total of 5 or more years experience. Now, again, recent. What is recent experience? Recent experience means 12 months of full-time work in the same occupation as the visa you're applying for within the last 2 years, right? So if you're applying for a job as, let's say, a welder or a chef or a mechanic in Australia, then your recent job title, your recent occupation in the last 12 to 24 months has to be as a welder. So if it's a welder visa, a welder job you're applying for, you have to have your recent job has to be that of a welder as well. And then in your total experience, you need at least 5 years, ideally, experience. So what would not qualify? So let's say you're a mechanic. Your recent job in the last 2 years is a mechanic, and you want to come to Australia as a welder. Can't do it, right? If your recent experience is a mechanic, then the job you're applying for has to also be a mechanic. So yeah, so that's the experience requirements. If you're a fresh graduate out of school, you can't be looking at the 482 working visa. If you're valid Victorian, MBA, scholar, whatever, and no experience, you can't look at the 482 working visa. So yeah, ideally, 5 years experience to qualify with recent experience. Some people can get over 3, but ideally it's 5. So yeah, that's the basics on requirements in relation to experience for the 482 employer-sponsored working visa to Australia. If you like this, press the like. If you want some more tips, press the follow. My name's Kano. Have a good day. Cheers.